What's up, my fellow collectorers of all things collectible? Hobbyists, painters, artists, you're all welcome. Welcome to another edition of Figure This, Figure That, the Don's Figure Chat. Alright, today we're doing maybe my favorite Ironman of all time. This is the Hot Toys die-cast Mark III. Beautiful figure. He's in a hovering pose with all the flaps deployed, and he's looking to make an entrance that only Iron Man can do. I've got the quarter scale figure of this as well. That comes with a diorama base, and he might be making a guest appearance the end of the video, so keep your eyes peeled for that. This is the one. Whoa, let me go into what he comes with first before I get carried away. So this is the art box, very similar to the Robert'Upppp art box in the sense of it's done the same way as the Tron. Remember the movie Tron? So this is very similar to that. Quite dope. I like it. I like it. It was a new look for the art boxes at the time. This figure's quite old now. He's stood the test of time. So he comes with, it's almost a tribute to the Hall of Armor, this base. It's got the name plaque on the front. He's got the abdominal crunch section, which I'll show you how to use later on in the video. He comes with two flexible finger hands, two right angle hands, forearm missiles at the back there, shoulder missiles. Then these are his chaff grenades that get attached to the hip. He comes with this open face cowl with a hell of a likeness to Robert Downey Jr. What do you think? Let me see if I'm getting closer there. I mean, that's him to a T, eh? I love it. I love it. So he didn't come with a head sculpt per se. That is the head sculpt. But the piece de la resistance is this thing. Look at him, man. If Enterbay quarter scale bats is the beast of Gotham, then this guy has to be the beast of Iron Man, eh? So that's a light up helmet he's got on there. But if you've been watching other videos, I don't put batteries in because they've got a bad habit of leaking. He's got a detachable breastplate, detachable torso armor. There's no articulation in the waist. I'll explain that later. The arms pull out to allow for better movement and better articulation. He's got the fists on at the moment. You come down. The legs do pull down for extended position so that you can pose them in basically almost any pose you want. Obviously, you can't go to the extreme, you know. The flaps open on the back of his legs. I've got them open now as air flaps as he's coming into land. And if you look from the back, you can see all the inner workings underneath the flaps. It's got a couple of light up features. The repulsors in the hand light up. The reactor lights up. And of course the eyes light up. And if you go around the back here, you can see the delicate pieces of foil that they've put under the flaps. There's two pieces there. You'll see a piece in between the flap and the arm, and then a piece right at the very top. That's on both sides. And when you view him from the back, or if you view him in a mirrored display cabinet, yeah, oh man, he looks magnificent, eh? This is the only downside to this figure that people found, was the gap between the arms or the shoulder joints and the body, where now they fixed that by giving us pauldrons that can cover that gap, but you still get them, especially when the arms are extended. The bicep armor is removable. These plates here on the forearm are removable to place those back end there forearm missiles. The same with the pauldrons on the top for the shoulder, and the same with the chaff grenades. I don't know if you'll be able to see it from here. I'll try. No, you can't. And if we come up from underneath, oh yeah, you can maybe just see the one that's in there. It's like a blank that fits in there. You pull that out to put that one in. The same with the top shoulder pauldrons, these ones here. They come out and you put the shoulder missiles in. Now the quarter scale, they're all built in. So when you look at the quarter scale accessories, you think, yeah, he doesn't come with much. But most of the stuff is built into the actual armor. But look at that beast, man. Eh? Doesn't he look impressive? I think so, and I'm a Batman fan. But this Iron Man, for me, is the closest to what Iron Man used to look like in the comics. The new suits are all nanotech, very streamlined, where this one is bulky, muscular, and just looks menacing, eh? A really dope-alicious piece. Only got single bend elbows. They come across as double bend, but you can only get a single bend out of them. Same as the knees. But as I say, they've tried to help that fact out with giving us the pull down extension on the legs, which does make a hell of a difference, I must admit. Now this torso piece here, over here, is released by ways of buttons running down the back along the spinal column. So you pull off the top half from there, and you pull off the bottom half, and it leaves a straight section of the torso, which you then change out for that twisted maniac down that side. And that allows you to get the landing pose, various poses, twisted upper body, so it looks like he's twisted and looking to the side. But yeah, this is quite a sought after piece, this Mark III. Mine has been in the wars a bit. I'll show you that just now. Well, it's only one scratch, and I bought it like that. I was always thinking I could have airbrushed the color back in, but Hot Toys are very loath to give out their color codes. And I thought, nah, I'll just leave it. But you can see on that bicep, the scratches. Now those are obviously made when you're moving it around and that pauldron is catching, or this removable chest piece is catching. You don't feel it at the time, or you don't see it at the time, and I've only just noticed them now. I did know the bad scratch was there because I bought it like that from new. But yeah, look at him, eh? That's Iron Man, eh? You cannot deny that. He's a sodding rock star. A rock star he is. So there you can see he's got identical air flaps on the other side of his back as this side. And you can position them for different poses when he's in the air. Whoops, sorry. When he's in the air. The chest plate, as I said, is removable. and it shows all the inner workings that run around the arc reactor to keep it going, to keep it cool, and everything else that he needs for that piece. If you go in, you can see some of the inner workings just as his chest starts there. You can see the workings of the shoulder joint where you pull the socket out to enable you to get crossover arms. And when he first came out, I got mine from The Good, the Bad and the Robots, Mr. Ward. And I had to sell all my Ironmen at one stage. I had about 3, 4. I had the Iron Patriot, I had this Mark III, I had the Mark 42. I'm trying to think of what was the other one I had, because I had 4 at the time. I think it was War Machine and Iron Patriot. So 2 Iron Men and 2 War Machine, although they're called different names. So yeah, I even had the full battle damage set that was knocking around for this figure at one stage. And I knew I should have kept it because I always knew I'd get this piece again, but I sold it along with the Iron Man figure. But yeah, he's nice, eh? Yeah, look at that, eh? You see that hovering above you, you'll run a mile. I wouldn't, because I'm friends with Tony Stark. Yeah, believe it or not, he went to school with me. I'll show you my class photos. Okay, let me just go over the accessories again before we get into some poses. It comes with tribute to the Hall of Armor base. Those foot sleds at the bottom there, they move inwards and outwards. I think it's to help lock the feet into place, but it doesn't leave for a very nice stance though. So I don't use them. There you get the twisted torso that enables you to do the landing pose and various other poses. You get a set of flexible fingered hands. You get a set of right-angled hands. You get a Tony Stark head sculpt encased in the cowl. See if we can get in closer again. There we go. The likeness is spot on, eh? You get the first missiles at the back there are the forearm missiles. The middle ones are the shoulder missiles. And these are the hip shaft grenades and such. So yeah, he doesn't come with a lot. But as I say, this is what you are getting for your collection, this Iron Man. I mean, yes, what a lovely piece, eh? And as I say, for me, this just epitomizes the Iron Man from the comics. From the shape, from his stance, the coloring, everything. When you polish him up, he glows like a Ferrari. In fact, it might even be Ferrari red they used. You never know. Hey, what do you think? I'm waiting for an answer. There's no one else here. Dope figure. So I'll leave you there, once again, looking into the eyes of Iron Man, aka Tony Stark. And I'll see yous on the flip. So for this next pose, I've gone with him with a simple standing pose with the right angled hand on, which would have a repulsor ray coming out the hand if the batteries were on or in. That's the hand there. On this side, He's got the flexible finger hand. I've changed out the hip blanks for the chaff grenade. Let's see if I can lift that up so you can see them better. I don't like doing that, playing with the figures when they... So there it is. He's got one either side. He's got his shoulder armor removed and the shoulder missile pods put in place. I've also changed the head sculpt for the Tony Stark head sculpt. And what's nice about this, it's got a dope little touch. The jaw piece pulls down so you can see more of the Tony Stark head sculpt, which is quite nice. There you see the pauldrons in action. I've moved the pauldron up to cover the gap between the shoulder and the arm. So I thought that was a really nice custom touch they gave us. And when I was saying just now that you just pull the legs down for extension, there's actually a button at the base of the spine that you push in, and it allows the legs to drop. So you would use that if you were going for a landing pose or a very tricky flying pose. So also a very nice touch. The stances that you can create with this figure is super dope, eh? You just stand so strong, and usually you don't need a stand, but because I've got him raised, I thought I'd put him on one of these translucent stands. And also this tray that he's on is very slippery, and he does the splits at the touch of a dial. Yeah, this is Iron Man for me, eh? Let's see, let's go in for a close-up of Tony's head. So this is him on the actual neck post. Really dope, eh? I mean, look at those eyes. They did a stellar job. I think on the shoulder pods, they could have put a bit more articulation into the hinges so that we could point them in different directions and not just up and down. But that's a nitpick, eh? That's a nitpick. You do get a Tony Stark head sculpt for this piece. You just have to get the collar that comes with and the neck post that works. I've got a head sculpt for him, but it doesn't look good on him, so I never use it. If I'm going to show Tony Stark, I'll just use that one. So yeah, as I was saying, I've got the quarter scale of this one as well, and those shoulder pods are built into the actual shoulders. You move a panel there, push a panel here, and you can bring those up. Same with the forearm missiles. And the chaff grenade section is also built in, and it's just a matter of pulling it out. But yeah, very nice, man, very nice. So when you drop these legs, it drops about a good centimeter. Allows you different turning angles. A lot of articulation once you do that. The front of the boot there, that bends up and down, which is a nice touch. You've got some ankle articulation, but not a lot. But as I say, you can get most poses out of this fella that you would want. And here you can see how easy it is to put the cowl on and off. So there you can see it perfect now. You see that gap there? It looks like his mouth. That's with the bottom jaw piece pulled down. That's it with it up. How mean and menacing does that look, eh? That would even scare Taylor Swift. And she doesn't scare easy. Let's see if we can go in for a bit of a pan. There he is, the man of the hour, Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. It's not the most exciting of poses, I'll give you that, but it still shows him off in quite a lacquer pose. You know, if you just wanted to have him like that in your display cabinet, you could. You don't have to go for a high action pose every time you pose a figure. Plus, you must always remember, the less stress you put on the joints, the tighter they stay. So if you've got guests coming around to view your display, to see your collection, then yeah, by all means, start messing around with him, put him in different poses. But the next morning, change him back to a static pose, which is a museum pose, very much like this. You could leave this in your display cabinet. It wouldn't do him any harm. So yeah, what do you think? Because this is a figure chat, not a figure review, it's a figure chat. I want you to converse with me. It does look good with the lights on. Not as good as the new ones like the Mark 85, the Mark 50, the Mark 46. Oh, you can go on with Iron Man. Yet there's only one Batman. They don't show Batman a lot of love, eh? But Iron Man they do. There's an Iron Man for every color of the rainbow. And now it's coming like that with Spider-Man. What happened to the old, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Now he's your friendly universe Spider-Man. Fighting all sorts of villains and enemies from across the galaxies. Okay, I'm prattling now. Let's go in for another pose. So we'll leave him there in his Scholar Patrol stance. He's stopping the traffic for the kids to cross. And if you don't listen, he's going to blast you out your car. I'll see you on the flip. Right, boys and girls, I just wanted to show you what length you have to go to change the body to put him in a landing pose. So again, it's a press of the button on the spine to release the legs. It's a press of a button on the spine to release the upper torso. This one here is the middle torso that I've just taken out. That there is the armor covering, and this twisty piece in front is the piece you put in to either put him in the landing, well, mostly for the landing pose, but also you can put him in some weird and wonderful poses with the twisted abdomen. So yeah, I'll just add this in as a little video to show you what you have to do. This, when I see him like this, it always reminds me of Lieutenant in Tom Hanks' Forrest Gump, when he's on that little board and he's pulling himself along with his arms. Always reminds me of that. Okay, I'll see you shortly on the flip side. All right, so there we have him in the full-on landing pose. That's with the torso swapped out for the twisty one. And usually I can get that leg there. Where are we? That leg, I can usually get the foot flat. But for some reason, he's not doing it today. The famous landing pose. Very similar to Black Widow's, or is Black Widow's similar to his? Now there's a question, Sherlock. said Watson. So now you can see the detail on these flaps on the back. I wish they did this for the quarter scale as well, because these pieces of foil are so nice, and they look so dope out. But on the quarter scale one, the foil and the flap are one piece. Maybe it was just too delicate to put on such a big figure. But there we have it, folks. You've seen it first on Project Legacy. Figure this, figure that. It looks dope, eh? So now this is him coming out that flight pose, well, hover pose, and landing on the ground. He looks fantastic, eh? So stick around, and at the end I'll put concept art Mark 46, this Mark 3, my Mark 85, and my quarter scale Mark 3. If I can get them all in here, I'll put them all in a landing pose. But I think I'm going to just have to do the 2 Mark 3s together, and then the 3 1/6 scale ones together. Yeah, he looks really, really dope, eh? You got to see him in hand to understand the engineering that's gone into this piece. And if I just reach over here, so these are the pieces I took out. That's a torso armor, and this here is the straight piece that I've exchanged for the twisty piece. This here is all the inner workings that go on behind the armor, behind the chest armor and the torso armor. So for this pose, I don't think I needed to do it because I had the same pose when I hadn't done it, which was release the legs so that the legs drop down. I don't think I need to do that. I was thinking that was how I got the foot flat, this foot here. But no, it didn't really make that much difference at all, eh? So see if you can see on the inside there. Now you can see where these pauldrons come in handy. I've lifted that one up to close the gap. Let's get round the back here. You can see all the flaps now that lift up. He's got 2 just below the missiles on the shoulders, the shoulder pauldrons there. And then he's got the ones with the foil just underneath that. And then there's a series of buttons running down his spine that you press to release the legs and to release the torso. You can just imagine the 3 of them all in the line, all in their landing poses. Yeah, that'll make for a dope ending. I love the landing pose, eh? One, because it's on the older Ironman, it's quite tricky to get right. Even on the newer Ironman, what's I saying? It's just this leg to get that foot flat. You've got to twist it almost off the ball joint to get it right. So what we'll do is I'll put those back there. We'll come in for a bit of a close-up. And then we'll back out. And I'll leave yous. Oops, that was terrible camera work there, sorry. Maybe I'll shoot this again tomorrow. But look at him, eh? How dope does that look? Okay, I'll leave you looking at that. It's almost supper time. So for now, I'll say, I'll see you on the flip. All right, so this is a pose with the twisted abdomen in. So I was saying you could use it in other poses. So we've got him in a flight pose. Excuse the stand. I'm using the Mark 85's flight stand because for some reason or other, my waist grabber kept pushing up his chest armor, that piece. You can even see this one. It's starting to push it up already. But yeah, so he's got all flaps on, open. He's come to an immediate stop. And he's got his leg flaps, because he's like just flew in. He's coming down. He's had to do a reverse sweep to fire those forearm muscles, those forearm missiles. There you can see them. So the part comes out of the forearm and you put these in. It's got two little rods at the bottom that you push into two access holes, and that holds them. Just here is the twisted part. So I've got the armor that covers that. The waist armor is off because it comes with armor attached. And yeah, he looks rather menacing. Rather menacing for an Iron Man. Look at that, man, in full flight. Doesn't he look dope, eh? So if you come round from the top, you can see, I don't know if we can see any of the foil. Is that a piece there? There's a piece there just under that back flap. So those are also positionable. They come away from the flap. I wish the quarter scale had them. As I say, they attached to the flap on the quarter scale. He's got both his repulsor hands on, the 90-degree hands. You could use the fist for firing these missiles. I just thought the repulsor hands would look cool. He's still got the Tony Stark head sculpt on. I haven't changed that out, so I've just closed the visor. So yeah, after this, he would come down into a landing pose. So yeah, that twisted abdomen actually allows for some dope poses. Let's see if I can get him almost a pan from the top so you can see him. I mean, that looks quite dope, eh? Considering it's die cast and plastic, these Iron Men, I keep on repeating, they're just an engineering marvel, eh? How they managed to achieve this is really special, eh? And to think it all started back in the day with G.I. Joe, because the American lads didn't want to play with dolls. So they had to coin a phrase, and the action figure was born. I don't know if action men, because that's what I grew up with, were before the G.I. Joes or after. I'm not too sure. I'll have to look into that. I'll get Whats'Upppp to do a fact-finding mission, and he can add it to one of the shorts. Which, by the way, the shorts are going epically well, so thanks to everyone who's watching them. Are you doing it because it's Christmas? There you can see a piece of the foil right at the back there, that same piece I showed you. So there's not much articulation on the head. So he does turn left to right, but the neck post is restrictive in some areas. And I put him up against the Mark 85 yesterday. I was standing him in here, and I thought, let me just put the Mark 85 in, because I was trying to plan a video with them. And the Mark 85 stands head and shoulders above this guy. I was actually quite surprised. I thought they'd all be the same scale. Well, obviously they are all 1/6 scale, but I don't know if they've used proper measurements, because he can't be taller in one suit than he is in another. But I'll let them get away with it, because it's such a marvelous piece, eh? Look at that. Can you imagine that hovering above you? And you've just caused shit with the neighbor's dog. Ah, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And I didn't have to extend the legs. The legs are in their normal position, albeit bent and twisted, but still I haven't released them yet. Awesome figure, eh? As I say, you can tell why this figure is so chased after. The level of details, oh man, magic, magic. He just looks the part. I just shat myself there. One of the cables fell out the tape. I taped them to the, and it fell. Did you see that jump in the camera? That was me shitting myself. I thought the whole thing had collapsed. Wasn't very happy, eh? There he is in all his glory, eh? Iron Man, your little friendly neighborhood Iron Man. Oh man, you prat, eh? Okay, well, I just wanted to show you that pose, just to show you what else the twisted abdomen can do. It makes for a very lacquer pose. That's what it does, eh? So the landing pose and this pose, and there's one or two others you can achieve with this, but I can't let them all out the bag, otherwise I'll have nothing to show in the 360s. Okay. So I'll leave you looking at an overall view of the Mark III in flight with twisted abdomen, and I'll see you on the flip. What's up, boys and girls? Back with a new video, yeah? We've got from the left the Mark 46 concept art Iron Man. In the middle we've got the boy himself, the Mark III, and at the extreme right we have the Mark 85. Overseeing the whole project is Captain America from Endgame. He's showing them his broken shield and asking them to help him catch the villain that did that. So as you can see, they all pose lovely. For some reason or other, it must just be a little twist I'm not getting right. I can't get these right angled legs to sit flat. And just the other day when I did these, I got them perfect. Now today, when I need them to be perfect, they're not working for me. There's Captain America. So at the moment, this one here with that head sculpt, and this Mark 85 with the Tony Stark head sculpt, I reckon is the two best head sculpts Hot Toys have ever done. They really are. The paint apps, everything about them, fantastic. Let me stand a bit and see if we can't go in for a closer shot without knocking everything over. There we go. There is a video posted of him, but look at that. The eyes. It comes alive. Excuse the shake, I'm at the extreme of my limitations there. Let's get back to the bad boys. Don't they look good, eh? And try as I may, I can't get the Mark 85 to have a straight arm. Just doesn't work unless you have to fiddle with the wrist peg. I'm not too sure, because he's got the straight arm and he's got the straight arm. So the Mark III has deployed all of his foils and flaps. He's just come in for this landing, so everything is all go. You learned that from Star Trek. Even the calf flaps and hydraulics are put into action. The Mark 85 only has the 2 flaps in his nanotech suit. They're at the back there, you can see them with the highlights. The Mark 46, I can't remember now how many flaps he's got at the back. But again, they only lift up about 3-4 mil, where the Mark IIIs are fully extendable and the foils are separate pieces. I thought that was an excellent touch, eh? Can you see the foils there? So they all move independently to their actual flaps. I thought that was a dope touch, eh? Now, where you'd expect them to do that on the Mark III quarter scale, they don't. But I was just saying to Moate, he's got, this is the quarter scale now, where this guy's shoulder cannon, missile pods are stacked. You actually unfold the quarter scale ones from within the body, the same as the forearm missiles that I showed you earlier. They are also encased in the body, plus the deflective shield is encased in the body. So I think that's why they saved cost on doing the flaps at the back. Or, as they called movie masterpieces, it's just true to the movie. And with the nanotech technology, maybe he didn't need that. I'll have to find out about that. So yeah, there's Cap's broken shield. We all know who did it. Will they catch the culprit and punish him? Only time will tell. Literally time. Get that, eh? Did you get that? I'm good, eh? I'm good. Okay, so I'll leave you now in this pose. It was just to show you all 3 in the landing pose. At the end of the vid for the 360s, I'm going to try and get the quarter scale in a landing pose alongside his counterpart, this one in the middle, the 1/6 scale Mark III. But I was also not shocked, but a bit taken aback. When I first started posing these figures, I put the Mark 85 next to the Mark III, and he's a good head and shoulders above Mark III. I mean, these are to scale. So he wouldn't be bigger in one suit than he is in the other suit, unless he's wearing those built-up pumps. But he's not. You can't go to your chiropractor and say, hey, listen, don't you want to build up my Ironman shoes? Oh, look at that, eh? Look at that. That's some Ironman dopeness there, eh? Okay, as I said, upwards and onwards to the next pose. So let's have a last look at Cap. There the hero stands, directing the traffic. You come down And from the left you got the Mark 46, in the middle the Mark 3, and on the right the Mark 85. Magnificent pieces, eh? You must remember these are marriages of die cast and PVC. So with that said, I'll see you on the flip. Right, that's me back. And what I've done is I've set them all up in an attack formation so you can see them, well, for me, at their best. Because this is Ironman, you know. So at the back we've got the Mark 85 from Endgame with his nanotech and repulsor technology. So he's on a flight pole. In front here, standing, is the Mark 46, the concept art version. And then whose video it is, the man, the legend, the Mark III. So he's got his shoulder cannons out. He's got his forearm missiles loaded and cocked, ready to buzz. He's got the twisted torso in. The legs are not released. And he looks dope. They all look fantastic together, eh? You must see this in person. It looks amazing. But look at the difference in size. Even the hands. Start with the hands. Look at the Mark 85's hand, this one on the right, compared to the Mark III's on the left. There's a massive difference. Even the heads, the bulk of the body. Okay, Mark III has got the twisted torso in, but that doesn't take much away from his height, eh? And then this one, the Mark 46, is very close to the Mark 85, but is still smaller. Yeah, I suppose no. They're more or less the same size, these two here. But now, if I remember correctly, and I've said it before, the Mark III was Hot Toys' first attempt at the marriage between die cast and plastic. So this is almost like a flagship for them. As you can see, all the flaps at the back, the flaps at the front by his hips, the forearm missiles, the shoulder missiles, and he comes with a Tony Stark head sculpt behind that faceplate. Where this guy, the Mark 85, which is the latest one from them, when they released him, we all thought, you know, this was the Mark 85 from the movie. But when you get him, you're shocked at how little he has in the way of accessories. You know, there's no forearm missiles, there's no shoulder missiles, there's only this big repulsor at the back. And obviously he's got his arc reactor beam, which they say is the strongest. But now they've just released the Mark 85 battle damaged, and he comes with enough accessories to cover Africa. So that sucks, eh? You know, they should at least tell you that that is going to happen. And they've done it before with other figures. So now you're sitting with a Mark 85 with no accessories. So you basically have to get the battle damaged one to get the accessories for your normal 85. I think that sucks, eh? I mean, I know it's business and the whole move, but I still think it sucks when you're a loyal collector. And I'm sure some of the guys knew, but I didn't have an inkling that that was going to happen. So now I have to wait for someone to split up the Mark 85, which some people will do, and they'll charge the earth for the accessory sets because they know you need them, they know you want them. I mean, even this concept art comes with forearm missiles, and he's got the old shoulder silo missiles as well, as I call them. But the Mark 85 comes with nux, comes with nothing. The Mark III, he comes with shoulder mounted missile pods. He comes with the forearm missiles. Still has the arc beam from his chest. And yeah, man, I mean, look at all the flaps and hydrofoils behind his back. That's really, really nice. You get the Mark III quarter scale, and he's got 2 baby flaps, and that's it. The Mark 85, yeah, well, his flaps are not even worth mentioning because they lift up about 2 mil from his back. And the same with this concept art. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I love these Ironman figures. They really are feats of engineering. I was a fitter and turner in my youth before I became a technical illustrator. And I can understand the amount of work that's gone into these, and yeah, really are nice. I mean, I'm a Batman diehard fan, but these things are just another level, eh? They really are. I'm sure you can hear the love and the awe in my voice, because the tolerances on these sizes must be so minute. I mean, they must be their tolerances must be in microns. That's why you get so many, well, I say so many, but you get a lot of these die-cast Ironman with loose shoulder joints and things like that. So that'll have been parts that have come through QC, and they'll have a jig to test the sizes where it'll be go and no go. So they'll have just scraped through, but then put it on a figure and you start posing the figure and this and that. Those tolerances make all the difference in the world. There is some stuff on the market. Kiki loose joint. It hasn't even got a name. It's just called Kiki loose joint. I think it's from Indonesia. And you can use that to fix your joints, but you use too much and it solidifies your joint. So you got to be careful. You got to put it in small applications. I got it now for my quarter scale Ironman Mark III because the shoulder joint is loose. It's a full-on factory fault, but PayPal wouldn't entertain it. They said I had to send the figure away to get a quote from a repair shop to fix it. I was trying to tell them there's no such bloody thing as a repair shop for figures. You know, and this is their so-called experts. In the end, they denied my claim. So yeah, that's beggars belief. Beggars belief. Their reasoning was that the fault that's on will not affect the working capabilities of the figure at all. I mean, what's the biggest thing you do with these figures is pose them. So how can you pose a quarter scale Ironman that the arm just flops down? It doesn't even hold up, eh? So yeah, I was a bit taken aback by that, but I'll fix it. I know what I'm doing, I'll fix it. But that's so wrong, eh? All the seller had to do, I said to him, listen, mate, it's not your fault. It's a factory fault. Just contact your supplier and say to them, you need a spare arm because this one has got a factory fault. I would have sent the arm to him. He could have sent the arm back to me and everyone's happy. But no, nothing, eh? So I'm a bit upset about that. I had shops coming, sending me letters to help me. Yeah, and they just didn't take cognizance of anything, eh? They still stopped the claim because I didn't get a quote from a repair shop to fix the arm. Anyway, back to these beauties. Nothing can put me off my love for this hobby, eh? Or my love for these figures. They just, yes, man, magnificent, eh? They really are. And when you see them in person, like this, in the studio, in the light studio, yes, man. Even Muate, when he walks in, his eyes light up. Because they're just amazing. They really are. As I say, feats of engineering, eh? I'll try and get all three in, but I don't want to get half my room in with them. Let's see how far I can get back here. That's about it, eh? But there you have it. From the left, the Mark III. In the middle, the Mark 46. And on the right, the Mark 85. Damn. Magnificence in person it is. It's Christmas Eve today. Me and Muate are working on the channel. I'm not talking to him because he didn't get me an expensive present for Christmas. Best mates should always get their mates expensive presents, eh? It's the way it goes. And I don't have to reciprocate because I'm disabled. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So there's the Mark 46's forearm missiles. It almost looks like that thing, his competitor in the Whiplash one. That he's showing the army that he's going to, this is his like creme de la creme. And it just fizzles. It looks like one of those. You go up here and the Mark III has got 2 missiles on each forearm. There's the one set. There's the missile pods. There's the other set. We come here, the Mark 85 has got the big repulsor on his back. This is all nanotech. In the comic, the nanotech is fitted. I'm sure he uses the symbiote suit from Venom to create a symbiote suit for him, for Iron Man. And it gets put into his bones. And, well, I don't know if it's the flesh, but I know it gets put into the bones. Where this suit, the nanotech robots are in a container around his arc reactor. In the comics, the nano robots are in his actual bones. And then you get the Mark 46. This is the concept art one. It's a 10-year anniversary. So this one goes with the concept art Captain America, all in black. Now for me, these three are the closest to the Iron Man I knew as in my youth, you know, in the comics. The colors are really, really good and very nostalgic. Okay. I've been rabbiting on for about, how long? 13 minutes, yes, I'm sorry. I got a bit carried away there. So I'll leave yous with a view of the 3 Iron Men. And yeah, you can take that to the bank. See you on the flip.